Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, go on. We are listening. Okay, SAP ERP journey we started, and there are two things to know. One is SAP ECC, one is SAP S4 HANA. Yes, that's what I asked you to understand even more in a Google. Did you guys tried it or no? Okay. What about you, Ashwini? Ashwini, can you hear me? Okay. Can you please tell me what is a greenfield implementation and what is a brownfield implementation, Ashwini? Re-engineering. Okay. In simple form, what I've explained in a class, can you tell me the same? You are just reading a definition, but I want the explanation what I've given in a class. So it means somebody is not currently using SAP. Who is not talking? Please mute. Please. Okay. So what I told is greenfield implementation in the sense a company currently nowhere they're into SAP. They're using altogether a different ERP system. Now they buy SAP S4 HANA license, not ECC. ECC license default and now stopped selling from 2015 onwards. If you buy SAP S4 HANA license freshly and you are implementing it for your business, that phase we call it as a greenfield implementation. Right? Now tell me, Mohammed, what is brownfield implementation? Hmm. Correct. Right? That is correct, no, Ashwini? Correct. Now let's talk about few more things in a SAP and SAP licenses, how it will be. Let's discuss. Okay. So if you buy any software application, the cost of software application is based on a version, right? If you're using advanced version, you might have to pay a little more. If you're using a little, no, maybe old version, you might pay little less amount, right? So SAP S4 HANA licenses. Okay, normally there are two types of licenses SAP sell in a market to the customers. One is on-premise. This terminology you need to remember. On-premise and cloud. What is it? One is on-premise, other one is cloud. Let's talk about on-premise. On-premise in a sense, every year you have one release. Okay, so yeah, if we talk about on-premise, what it was written here, if you just Google it also, you will understand. There's on-premise releases and the cloud releases. No, about SAP. It's not something new. Whatever there in a Wikipedia, SAP, SAP company Wikipedia, the same information we are discussing. Okay. So basically, SAP S4 HANA Cloud in 18 languages. How many languages? This application runs in 18 languages. Yeah, 18 languages and 33 country versions. Country versions in a sense, in India, how the Indian tax works. Let's say in a Brazil, how Brazil taxation works. Likewise, what are the critical country versions are needed in 33 country versions? It is enabled. If keep on, these numbers will get changed, right? Languages will get add on, and the country versions also will get add on. So they'll not reduce it, but they'll add on it, right? So SAP S/4HANA on-premise that we are talking about releases are once per a year. What is it? Every year you have one on-premise release. SAP S/4HANA cloud releases are quarterly. See, the main thing you need to remember is if it is an on-premise release, every year SAP releases one on-premise release in SAP, and if the license is related to cloud, in a cloud they have quarterly one release, means every year four releases in a cloud side. Okay, we'll talk in a minute what is the difference between on-premise and cloud. Okay, so initially they name it as version coding YYMM. Example, if the on-premise is released in a year 2017, YY called 17. 17 is nothing but 2017 and 09 is nothing but a September. If you see this example, if they release the SAP on-premise in 2017, in the month of September they release it. So they name the application on-premise release name in this year 1709. Zero we call it as WO in a real time. Okay, 1709. So if you see coding on-premise edition since 2020, they've changed it later. Initially, what they've done is they made it as YYMM format. Now they changed it as to YY only year. If you release in this year, it will be 2023 on premise, right? So we'll see in the real time system also. We see what are the licenses we have, and we've already discussed yesterday. When was it? That first release was started in 2015, right? Yesterday we discussed SAP S4 HANA started from 2015 March. So initially it was YYMM, right? That is the reason post edition they call it as 1503. Means 2015 in March they will release a post edition as for HANA on-premise release. Then later you see in 2015 only they will release one more edition November, that is 2015 November. So from there, if you see from there, uh, this is in 2016, and in May they will release 2016 May, and in a 16 only they have a two releases initially every March. So March they released one, November one, May one in 2016 and October. And if you see from there, every September, October they were releasing one only. You see one, and as told here, since 2020 year 2020 onwards they removed the month they removed, they have only YY. You see from 2020 onwards, 2020 on premise, that's all. If you go to the next year 2021 you will have, that's all. That is how it will continue. Now let's talk about the cloud licenses. Cloud licenses also naming, you see it's 1603. 16 is a year, 03 is a March. So likewise, initially you have a four releases in a quarter. Still currently also in a cloud side, every year four releases SAP do. See, every year four times repeating, right? Four times, four times, four times, right? So that is how the release works. Now let's try to understand. If you want to understand what are the recent releases, you just go and type uh, RS SAP valid certifications. You just go to the list of valid certifications. There you can see the recent certification list based on the releases. If you click here, you see these all are the certification exams. If you want to see what are related to you, you are into FI and CO, right? That modules you can select and you can see them. Let's find out where is our module. So let's come down. Central finance. This is little different. Where is? You see, this is what SAP Certified Application Associate, SAP S4 HANA for financial accounting. You say 2021. See, in the market, there is 2022 license also there. They've released it. You can check in SAP Wikipedia. Okay, you can see the recent releases. But certification wise, whatever a license you sell on a same license only, they'll conduct the exams and they'll give a certifications if you pass, right? You see, what was the latest one in finance side? C means certification, TS and 4 this is their nomenclature. FI means financial information. 2021 is a release. SAP Certified Application Associate, SAP S4 HANA for Financial Accounting Associates. If you want to see what are the details you have here, you just click here details. You can see the syllabus. Please mute yourself. I'm getting a lot of disturbance. Who is it? What is happening? Okay, what about you, Ashwini? But I can hear you background, okay? Noise from you. Please mute yourself. Yeah, thank you. If you see, this is a certification name. In this certification, total you have 80 questions. Out of 80 questions, we 63% you have to check. Based on the certification, it will vary. For few certifications, it's a 54%. For this, pass percentage is 63%. 180 minutes. The language of exam is in German, English, Spanish, French, Japanese, Portuguese, Chinese. Okay, this is F5, and you have a controlling module also, right? Controlling we call it as a management, right? Management accounting. If you scroll down, there is one more FI certification in a professional. P means professional certification. If you go here about this exam and you can see the information on what is the exam fees also. You can see it here. Let's see this. You see, this is 55%, right? Before it was 63%, right? Now for this exam, it's a 55%. And what is the cost of exam? If you want 6 attempts, if you want to write 6 times, then you have to take for 42,000 and the tax. This is excluding tax. There is a tax on it, service tax, and by adding maybe this will come around 44,000. This is one attempt, only one attempt. See, one attempt. If you go for one time writing exam, you can pay 16,000 plus tax, around 19,000. You can write an exam and you can, if you pass, you will get a certificate from directly SAP saying you are a certified consultant. This is for 6 attempts. That is up to you which option you choose, and you can book a slot and you can write an exam online only. It's a video, okay? So this is the FI side, and let's see one more certification, latest certification in a management accounting. See, management accounting. Earlier it was TS4 in a sense, S4 HANA, technical certification, CO controlling. This is 2021. See, S4 HANA management accounting associate 2021. If you see the syllabus here, you can see the syllabus here also. Later you just google it what are the SAP valid certification list and on-premise and cloud versions. You can see a lot, but there is no use to remember everything, every coding when it was started. You simply understand and remember SAP started selling their license from 2015 March onwards. Before that, you have SAP ECC license. From then onwards, you have only SAP S4 HANA. Nobody will ask you what is the name, what is the naming convention, when it was come, nobody will ask, right? Why? We don't need this and all. We are not the basis admin related consultant, right? We are a functional consultant, right? As a functional consultant, so see for this also 64% is a pass mark. So as a consultant, what you need to remember is this is a yearly release, right? That you need to remember. And the naming convention is YYYY only, right? That's all. And now coming to the cloud license, in a year, how many releases? Quarterly one, right? Quarterly one means yearly 4 releases, right? Four releases. Yes. Now let's talk about what is the difference between on-premise and what is the difference between cloud. Let's try to understand. Okay. On-premise in a sense, fixed functionality. What is it? Fixed functionality. And unless you update your system, unless you update your system, you cannot use the latest features of SAP. But here the cloud license is up to date, up to date. The responsibility on maintaining your system up to date is SAP responsibility. This is SAP responsibility, not your responsibility. Okay, and it includes hardware cost also. What does it mean? If you take this yearly once release, let's say now we are in a 2023. Let's forget about it. Now, if you're in a 2023 means you already have a on-premise release 2022, right? You agree? Right? Before this, you have a 2021, right? 2021. Every year one, right? So before yes, I'm writing 2020 you have one, 2021 you have one, 2022 you have one. Let's say, so you are doing business from a last 10 years. Maybe you buy a SAP on-premise license 2020. What is it? 2020 on-premise license you buy it. So it's a yearly release. In that year, whatever functionality so far they developed, if you buy that product, what all functionalities you have in 2020 package, that functionalities only you can use for your business, because in this package what are the functionalities are there and available, you are happy with that, and now you have all the functionalities what are needed for your business. So in simple, your requirement is fulfilling with 2020 on premise. Then you choose this and you buy this license and you install. So the software application is keep on developing. Again in the next year they have one more release, and after that there is a recent release 2022 one more release. Whatever you have in a 2020, whatever you have in a 2022, both will not be the same, right? The core will be same. So whatever a core functionality is there, that will be same. But in addition, few things will be added in 2022, right? Whether the new things are really useful for your business or not, it doesn't matter. But keep on they are adding the new functionalities, right? Yes or no? Yes. Yes. So this functionality, I'm happy, I'm working, my business is now stopped. If at all I want to use the functionalities related to 2022 separately, then what I have to do is I have to ask SAP again and please update me the additional features whatever added in 2022 on-premise license. If the business is going and asking SAP again, what they'll say, they'll not do it for a free, right? Will they do? No. So again, what they'll ask, hey, if you want additional functionalities, yes, we'll enable you, but you have to pay extra money, right? Yes or no? Because they are the application sellers, they definitely ask. Then that is up to you. Businesses, most of the businesses, let's say, if they're happy with this, they'll go for a on-premise release only. Because if you compare with a cloud license, this is a little less cost. Okay. If you see here, four every year, four cloud releases, right? By combining these four no, cloud releases, we call it as one on-premise release. That is makes sense, right? In a year 2022, you have released four cloud releases. If you combine that four cloud releases which you have released in 2022, if you combine four, it will be one on-premise release, right? Yes, yes or no? Yes, yes. But the thing here is, if your business is buying a cloud license, it's not that much cheap. Okay, this is little costly. Why? Because irrespective whether you use the new functionality what SAP is inventing on a quarterly basis, everything is readily available for you in a system, whether you use it or not. But so that much flexibility you're getting, and also the hardware cost, whatever no application related hardware equipments, hardware machinery needs to be maintained. That and all, SAP only will take care. The whole responsibility is with SAP, and only the thing is you pay amount and you be happy. That's all. You no need to worry about functionalities. But because you are getting this much comfort, so obviously you have to pay more money, right? So that is up to a business. If they are happy with the particular release functionalities, they'll buy that license for some amount, and if they need up to date the functionalities, they'll go for a cloud license. Okay, depends on a business decision whether they buy on premise or whether they buy a cloud. So there is no difference for us. We can happily work both systems. Okay, because both are SAP only, right? Got it? Now, now here, if you go for on-premise, if you go for a cloud, so you need to understand few things. Maybe the license is related to basis consultant. It's not related to you or me. We are functional guys. We don't install on-premise license or a cloud license, whatever they buy business. We are not going to install, right? We are not sure, and this is not our piece of work, right? We are just understanding what are the different terminologies, what are the different licenses we have. We are trying to understand, but who has to understand it more and do it? Basis consultant has to understand and do it, right? Because he's admin, right? In on-premise, how he has to install cloud, how he has to manage with SAP, that and all he has to work, right? Now, so in traditional SAP ECC, okay, so we have one backdrop is it's a third party database, right? Yes. So in S4 HANA, SAP S4 HANA, HANA means what? HANA is nothing but your database. Okay? HANA is nothing but a database which owns by SAP for as a fourth generation. I told yesterday, right? This SAP ECC means in a market they call it as a R3 system. If anybody is talking about R3 system, they are talking about SAP ECC system. Please remember, okay? Yes, and in this system, actually we have discussed and you asked what are the three tiers, right? Three tiers are this one: database, application server, and client. It's more of it's a more of a technical terms and which are related to a basis consultant. not you or not me. These things are related to basis consultant, but we'll talk what are they and how they are important as a functional consultant. Uh, in what level you need to understand and you need to remember. Once you get into the system, you can correlate it and you can understand it why it is needed actually. Okay, got it. And so we'll spend some more time, and however this is not related to us, let's try to understand what are the few technical terminologies in SAP S4HANA. Why? Because in a market, once you join in organizations also, people start using the terminology. You should be very familiar with the terminology. Okay. So as that I told, whether it is a SAP ECC or SAP S4HANA, if you learn SAP S4HANA, you can comfortably work until 2027 in SAP ECC also, right? Because whatever you have here, the same you have in SAP S4HANA and addition 10% you have here, and yeah, you have a 10% here that you also cover here so that you can work happily, I told, right? Now, database providers, in a sense, you might think Oracle might be working in a Oracle. So SAP might be working in Oracle, DB2, okay, DB2, Microsoft, okay. So IBM also have, then Microsoft, IBM, that's all. Okay, these four are the database providers. Either of one database you have to buy along with SAP license, and together they are working in ECC, right? But here it's a one database, SAP database only, HANA database, and it's a functionally. What are the additional things? Okay, this we understood. One is a database, and what is another advantage we have in SAP S4HANA? Let's talk about, right? Okay, we have a in-memory logic. What is it? And again, I'm telling whatever we are discussing, this is the addition as a key we are not discussing. Good to remember this terminals, but nobody asks you in interview, FSC was so. This everything is related to basis consultant, but good to know little technical. If somebody asks you, what is the mobile you are using? What is the configuration you have in your mobile? They'll ask you, right? If they ask you or not, at least you should know about your mobile, right? About your mobile, you should know. Likewise, we are knowing about the SAP S4 HANA technically, how strong it is, what are the terminologies we have. We are not going in depth. We are just understanding in one liner definition so that you feel comfortable when people are talking about SAP S4 HANA. Okay? So one thing is in-memory logic. This is not there in SAP ECC. It is there in SAP S4HANA. And you have a multi process. Okay. You have here only single processor. Here you have a multi-process, and data can be read in corner basis. Okay. Here only it was row basis and single processor. Okay, here it's a multi-processor and data can be read in columnar base. Okay, we'll talk what is mean by columnar, what is mean by row based. Okay. Next you have HANA. This is a in-memory multi-processor, and you have a best user experience. We call it as Fiori. Okay, this is traditional GUI. GUI in a sense, what is meant by GUI? Interface. So nothing. GUI in a sense, whatever a Excel screen you are seeing with a white color background and black letters and a menus, this green color, whatever a screen you are seeing, this is nothing but a graphical user interface. This is how we are interacting with a system. Mission is interacting with us, right? The screen basically, the user experience in a sense. Whenever you are using some application, how you feel, maybe some themes you like more, right? So in SAP mold, SAP ECC, only you have a one screen. You have to log into the system and you see a same screen. But here you have some extra user experience. Like simple is SAP S4 HANA. If you're implementing, you can work through a mobile, through a tab, or while traveling also you can work. But that flexibility is not there in SAP ECC, because this is a traditional way of working, right? Now everybody is looking at a very fourth generation way of thinking. If you're traveling also, the work should not stop. You should have a flexibility to work, right? That is possible with S4 HANA. And we'll talk about Fiori. Fiori is all about user experience. The way the way of work we are doing currently is very different the way we were doing since yesterday. I mean to say in SAP ECC. That we'll talk, okay? So do we have anything else? Database, in memory, and license pattern we have discussed already, right? License pattern we have on-premise and cloud. So this is it. Here we don't have that kind of stuff. So let's talk about HANA. HANA is its own database, and also you remember SAP, SAP S4 HANA only runs on HANA database. Okay, not other database. If you want to connect SAP S4 HANA with a DB2 or a Microsoft or Oracle database, it is not possible by definition. Got it? You have to use this is a certification exam question also. If you go for exam, they'll ask you SAP S4 no, system can run on other databases or only SAP HANA database or anything. They might ask you, you have to tell SAP runs on only HANA database. Okay. Okay. Next is in-memory logic. What is mean by in-memory logic is, how many of you know uh, there is a RAM, there is a hard disk, right? In a system or any mobile, there is a RAM you have, there is a hard disk you have. What is the main difference between your RAM and hard disk? What is the main difference? RAM is for your speed, right? RAM is RAM is speed. Internal memory, yes, it's a speed. And hard disk is your permanent memory. From RAM to the data, permanent data gets stored in your hard disk, right? So based on your processor and the RAM size, your system performance depends, right? Yeah. So here what is happening is, here in SAP ECC they'll use less RAM, okay, less RAM and more hard disk, HDD. I'm just writing HD, hard disk, okay. Why? Because the RAM cost is more. If you check in a market, RAM cost is more, right? Not a RAM. I'll put caps. RAM cost is more in a market, right? If you want to buy a RAM and a hard disk, you can understand easily, right? That is the reason. An application also, they'll have a more size for a hard disk. They'll have a less memory for a RAM. To managing a RAM is very difficult. It's very costly, right? That is the reason. So here what happens is, there is a in-memory logic inbuilt in a HANA database. What does it mean is, so nowadays there is a lot we heard on a machine learning and artificial intelligence, right? Data science. This terminology we are hearing, right? What does it mean actually? What does it mean is, let's say in your mobile, in any browser, if you search like maybe AC servicing cost in Vijayawada or Hyderabad or Bangalore. If you search it, this term called AC servicing charge. So if you observe or not, irrespective whether you need further information on that or not, whatever you are doing next, whatever you are surfing, whatever you are doing in a Facebook, maybe other browsers, you keep on getting ads related to AC service. Have you ever observed? Wherever you go, they'll not leave you. How? How they know it? Because based on your choices, your searches, they think they have a logic built nowadays. If you just type shoes, okay, or maybe if you try to find a jewelry, whatever it is, but you don't believe me, you go to Flipkart, Amazon, you'll see the priority things only. This list only you'll see. Have you ever observed? Maybe in Flipkart also, whether you buy it or not, if you search shoes, keep on you see a slide, no ads on shoes, right? Yeah, that is called machine learning, and they have a data science. So that is how they would design the programs and keep on, they're chasing the customers, and until they buy it, you will not, get out of that ads. That is how it works. So here in memory, in a sense, as an accountant, daily I'm doing a sort of same activities, right? I'll do, maybe I have a 1 2 3 4 5 activities I do daily, but maybe I'll do fifth activity first, fourth activity second, maybe order will be changed, but in my life, from a morning to the evening 8 hours time, I'll do the same activities, right? Yeah, yes or no? Yes. So daily daily system has a capability now. If let's say daily I'm processing some vendor invoices, and I'm making a payments to vendor. So by doing this, what system has a capability now is in HANA, it captures, hey, daily this guy is coming and fetching the information related to vendors, and he is making a payments. So where the data will go and store, whatever data you process in SAP, finally it will go and store in a HANA database only, right? It is stored in a database. If anybody asks any data again from a database, system has to read and it has to publish to you, right? In application front end. So every day you're asking, before you ask next time, what the system will do is in a in-memory logic, it stores the data readily. The minute you click it, you see a result. So what does it mean? It makes your work more easier and more faster, right? It will be quicker. Otherwise in SAP ECC, sometimes to get some reports we might need to wait for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, hours also. The minute you click the data from a database, it will not come that easily, that quickly. It will not come. It will come definitely, but it takes some time. Got it? So that is the reason accountants, what they used to do is they run a reports in SAP ECC. They'll go for a breaks. Once they return from a break after 30 minutes or 1 hour, some reports will get downloaded. Okay. That can be avoided with the in-memory logic. But nobody will ask you what is in-memory. Do you know in-memory? Can you explain me the logic how works? Nobody asks. Why? Because that is not our piece, right? That is basis consultant work, right? So that is the reason again SAP S/4HANA became a popular. Now we have here a multi-process. Here you have a one processor. Again, processor is about your system speed, right? You have a Snapdragon. There are multiple processors, right? Intel, in Intel you have a process, right? There are multiple processors. So here what happens is you have only one processor. Let's say you have a 50 rows, you have 1 2 3 4 5 50 rows you have, and there is a data in column A, B, C, D, E, F, G till maybe Z you have a data. In SAP ECC, how data reads is, if you ask, let's say, we have a 50 vendors or a 50 customers or a 50 assets, whatever data you have, If you want to search a report from the data, if you want to pull any report, what SAP ECC will do is they'll read a first row, they'll read first row and second row, third row. In order, they'll read the data. They in a sense system reads the data in a row wise, one after one, one after one, one after one. It has to read all the rows until last row. In this case, 50th row. So definitely it takes a time because one processor is doing a job and it is doing by row wise, it is reading a data. So it takes a lot of time and it wastes accountant time also, right? Because all he has to do is he has to wait until he get a report from SAP. So it is time wasting, right? Now, in S/4HANA, what you have is you are having multiple processes and data will be read in a column based, not in a row based. It's in a column based. I was telling. So in a S/4HANA, yeah, you have a multiple process. What does it mean is if one processor is checking from A to maybe E, they have a splitter. They'll take care of it. Based on your query, it knows how to segregate what processor need to read which column. They'll separate the work and they'll quickly share the work. Few process will read A to E, few processor will read maybe F to K, like that. They'll speed up the process, right? They'll read quickly and they'll give you a result in a span of seconds, so that it is saving a time, lot of time, right? Because of multi-process, your work will be very quick, right? That is one big advantage you have. And in a data, as for HANA database reads the data, whatever data you process, it will go store in HANA database. When you want to read it, when you want to pull it back in a system, it will read based on a columns with the help of multi-process. Okay? You have multi-processor and column-based data will be read. Got it? Okay. Next, coming to the user experience. What I told here, you have a traditional GUI, graphical interface, and here you have a Fiori. Fiori can connect to your mobile, tablet, not a tablet we take. Okay, this is a little less size if you compare with a laptop, right? Laptop and web-based experience. Okay, I'll just show you to understand what is mean by traditional GUI, what is mean by Fiori. Let's see now only, so that you will have a clarity with your eyes. I told you before only, user experience in a sense, graphical user face in a sense. The screen you interact with the system and system interact with you, right? The other way around. Whatever you see in a system, whatever system is reflecting for you, that we call it as a user interface, right? Graphical user interface. Let's see the system now. I'm going to show you SAP system. This is a logon pad, SAP system logon pad. You just double click on it. It will open and it will tell you in a logon only. It will tell you what is the version it is related. You see SAP S4 HANA 2021. What is 2021 on-premise license? This is just log into the system. You will have a one username and password. You just get the SAP access as soon as possible. So everybody has its own username and password. You can connect it like this. So you see, whatever screen you are seeing, there are menus. There is a theme color. There are small icons. There are different functionalities. You see this? This is a screen we have in SAP ECC, and also we just logged into a system which is a S4 HANA, not a ECC. This is a S4 HANA system, right? S4 HANA system. So, as I told you previously, whatever there in your SAP ECC, you have same in SAP S4 HANA. Additionally, you have 10%, right? It means the screen and the functionalities, whatever a logic you do, everything is same. You don't need to worry. So initially, this is how SAP ECC has created their graphical user interface screen. This is still we have as for HANA. Now we are calling it as traditional GUI because it is there from a long beginning of SAP, right? This is. Now let's talk about Fiori. What is meant by Fiori? Now to log into a system, we open one application. In that application, we have given a username password. Then we see a system is opened and one screen is opened. Then we can work now here, right? That is what we have seen. Let's wait. It's reconnecting. Now let's see what is a Fiori screen. Until then, I'll tell you. Here there is one big thing is this already you know on-premise is a yearly and cloud is quarterly once. If the customer is buying a on-premise release, you have a two GUIs. One is traditional GUI and Fiori. Fiori is nothing but advanced GUI. If you are going with the on-premise license, you have a two GUIs. One is a traditional, one is a Fiori also you will have. And if the customer is going with a cloud, he'll have only a latest Fiori, latest GUI, which is Fiori. You don't have a traditional GUI screen. Means this screen you don't have. Everything you will have in the cloud license Fiori only. Everything you have to work in Fiori. This Fiori, this latest GUI, you don't have in a SAP ECC. SAP ECC, all you have is traditional GUI, which is nothing but this screen only, right? Because now we have to learn both, right? We have to learn traditional GUI and the latest Fiori GUI also. That is the reason we have to work on-premise license only. It gives you more value and you can learn everything which is needed, right? Now this is a screen. I'll just logged into a software application with my username password. I can see a screen and I can see different options. Now let's go to the Fiori. Latest GUI will go just this is a transaction code. You just click. Now you see it's going to a web, right? It's no more with your physical application. It's application. This is an application. We can understand easily. But the minute I want to log into Fiori, what I'm getting a web, right? Web. This is not application. It means with the Fiori, you can do work in a web based, not application based. Everything is in your cloud. Cloud is means what? It will be in a sky, right? So in a sky, you can access the data if you have a internet. That simple it is. Before it was a physical, software application needs to be installed in your system. You have to log in into that system only. You have to connect to that network only. Then you can work. But with the S4 HANA, you can work anywhere with the help of Fiori. You see, now again it is asking username and password. Before it was, before it was the application. Now we are going to Fiori. Just copy the same username and give the same password. You will get one username password. Just click on log on. Now you will see the same SAP application is working, is functioning on a Fiori. So this is a big change. You see, now you don't feel like you're working in one physical application. This is everything is a web, right? Google Chrome. I'm in a Google Chrome. I've opened, I'm working. That flexibility you have with a Fiori. But if the customer is using cloud, you definitely have this Fiori only. You will have a link. You just click the link. You give your username, password. You do your work. That's all. You don't have this log on pad. This you don't have this traditional GUI screen. It means You will not see this logon pad. This is a SAP application logon pad. You will not have this. Directly what you have is you have any web browser. Mostly, the SAP connects with the Google Chrome. So in a Google Chrome, you have to open a tab. You just paste the link. They'll provide you a system-wise link. You just click on it, give your username and password. You can work it. Got it? So let it open. It will take little time. Fiori is little like that only nowadays. We just have to wait. So far you got the clarity between SAP ECC and SAP S4HANA. Slowly you were getting to it. What about you, Ashwini? Probably you talk to the institutes and get the system access. We'll soon start the real-time things in a system also. You have to start practicing. Let it open. Let's wait. See, it has opened, right? You have apps. We call them as apps. Here we call them as folders. Every functionality you have accounting, and accounting you have financial accounting. You have a controlling. Under controlling you have different things. Under financial accounting you have different things, right? Likewise, here you have a apps. In Fiori, what you have? You have a apps. So journal entries, master data, reporting, predictive accounting, advisory, whatnot. Whatever you have there, everything you have in a Fiori. But you don't feel like you're working in one application. You feel like you're working everything in a browser. You have a nice symbols, icons, bar charts, pie charts. The feeling is a little different. You feel like you're working in a one bank as a clerk or a manager, whatever. In a bank, you have a browsers only, right? You don't have any physical application. Everything is web-based only. If you open account, balances, everything, right? That feel you have here. As an accountant also, they love to work in Fiori rather than traditional GUI. This is a big thing, and most of the people currently, because it's just started in 2015, right? Most of the people don't know how properly to use a Fiori. Okay, so this is the time you invest your time to understand Fiori also more. Parallelly, we work. Okay, we work something in a GUI, so we'll work something in a Fiori, so that you don't feel like you only know GUI, traditional GUI. You don't know Fiori. You will know both the systems, right? Both the ways of working, you get to know. Clear? License pattern also we have discussed. License pattern also we discussed on-premise and cloud. In cloud, there are two things we need to discuss. One is public cloud and private cloud. We'll discuss these two things tomorrow. Maybe if you have interest, you just read it in a Google and tell me tomorrow what is mean by public cloud license, what is mean by private cloud license. Okay. In SAP S4HANA, just Google it. What is public cloud license? What is a private cloud license? Okay.